Welcome back to some new r/PettyRevenge stories, where people share small victories over those who wronged them. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Boss Discount. I work in the pest control industry, where part of my pay comes from a percentage of what customers are billed. For example, if I visit a customer whose bill is $100, I earn 20 on top of my normal hourly pay. However, if I'm out sick and a coworker handles the job, they get the percentage instead. At the end of each month, all these percentages are totaled up, and after a baseline deduction for the company, I receive 20% of what's left. Here's where the issue comes in. My boss has a habit of giving significant discounts to his friends, often below the minimum prices set for the rest of us when we sell work ourselves. These discounts directly affect me, because even though I'm not the one deciding on the lower price, I'm still assigned to do the job. This means I earn less, like 16 on a $80 bill instead of 20 on a 100. I've brought this up multiple times over the years. I've suggested that if my boss wants to give his friends discounts, fine, but my pay should reflect the full market price for the work. Each time he brushes it off as insignificant, pulling out his calculator to show how small the difference is. What he doesn't seem to understand is that these small amounts add up and feel incredibly disrespectful. If it's such a small difference to him, why can't it be adjusted for the person doing the actual labor? It's not just about the money though, it's about the principle. The discounts not only affect my paycheck, but also hurt our company, which isn't in the strongest financial position. Despite these conversations, the issue persists. This happened again recently, and it's left me feeling increasingly frustrated. Now for a little bit of revenge. My work truck is GPS tracked, and I've always gone out of my way to be as efficient as possible. If I had personal errands, which are allowed within reason, I'd wait until I was already in that area. I reorganized my route so I could handle jobs in the same neighborhood on the same day, all to save gas. Not anymore. If my efforts to save the company money aren't being met with mutual respect, I don't see why I should go above and beyond. If they ever check the GPS logs, they'll notice a sudden drop in efficiency. And if they ask why, I pull out my calculator and remind them it's just a negligible difference they should get over. The next story is called That's Weird. This happened about a year ago, during the 2023 holiday season. I work in a bookstore, and my boss at the time was a big fan of K-pop, especially BTS, though she was starting to explore other Korean pop bands as well. She would often play K-pop music in the store, to share her love for it with us. While the rest of us weren't really fans, seeing her so happy made it enjoyable, so we didn't mind hearing it every day. As the holidays rolled around, she put on some K-pop Christmas music to try something festive. One day, while this music was playing, a man walked into the store to trade some books. My boss and I started going through his books together, working quickly, since we are both pretty efficient at this task. After about 3 minutes of just standing there and watching, we always encourage customers to browse the store while we process their trades, but he seemed content to wait. He suddenly asked, "What music is this?" I glanced at my boss for reassurance, then replied, "I believe it's K-pop. Sounds like Stray Kids, but I'm not entirely sure." Before I could finish, he interrupted. "That's weird, right?" My boss, confident as she usually is, was caught off guard and struggled to find a response. Sensing the awkwardness, I stepped in and said, "Well, I think it's only weird if you think other cultures are weird." Without missing a beat, the man responded, "I do." I paused, looked him straight in the eye with a completely deadpan expression and said, "Well, that's weird." The man was visibly taken aback and couldn't come up with anything to say. We finished processing his books, took one for trade, and he left without another word. After he walked out, my boss told me it was the best thing I'd ever done at work. And honestly, I think I agree. Hopefully he reflects on that moment and reconsiders such an unfortunate outlook. The third story is called Aunt Gifts. I have a younger sister who has always been a bit difficult to deal with. No matter how careful you are, she's quick to find something to complain about. That said, I do enjoy making her holiday season a bit more memorable. Every Christmas I make it a point to get her daughters the most exciting, noise-filled gifts I can find, always keeping their enjoyment and development in mind, of course. This year both girls are absolutely obsessed with Bluey, so I knew what I had to do. For the younger one, I picked out a talking Bluey plush toy and a stroller with lots of fun buttons that light up and make sounds. These toys are not only entertaining, but also great for encouraging motor skills and sensory engagement. For the older one, who's still a huge fan of Frozen, I got her a Frozen-themed karaoke machine and a set of simple musical instruments designed for kids. To top it all off, I gave my sister a big box of batteries and made sure to emphasize how thoughtful I was for ensuring the toys could stay powered for a long time. As expected, my plan worked perfectly. The kids absolutely loved their new toys and have been having a blast with them. The Bluey plush in particular has been a huge hit, so much so that the girls sometimes scrabble over it, which has kept my sister on her toes trying to keep the peace. The best part? The gifts are not just fun, but also help promote language and cognitive development, so it's a win-win for everyone. I can't wait to see what creative ideas I can come up with next year. The last story is called Ask for It. At my last residence, my next door neighbors were an older couple. The husband was quite a grumpy fellow. He was very particular about his lawn, which was always in pristine condition. But he had a habit of running his sprinkler so that it sprayed all over the wood siding of my garage. Over time, that side of the garage started to look much worse than the others, likely because of the constant water exposure. I had repeatedly asked him to adjust his sprinkler so it wouldn't spray my garage, but he kept doing it anyway. To make matters more complicated, my property line was actually about 4 feet off my driveway toward his house. Despite that, he maintained the lawn all the way up to the edge of my driveway and seemed to think that area was his property, but it wasn't. One day, as I was pulling into my driveway, I noticed his sprinkler was running again in the backyard, spraying my garage as usual. I decided I'd had enough. I eased my car just off the driveway onto the grass, which was technically mine, and pressed the accelerator for about 25 feet, leaving a noticeable rut in the lawn he was so proud of. The next day, while I was quietly reading in my living room, I heard an outraged shout from outside. I peeked through the blinds to see my neighbor standing there, visibly upset and gesturing wildly at the damaged grass. I couldn't help but smile, waved politely, and then closed the blinds. The following day, his wife came to my door to ask why I would do such a thing. After I explained the situation, she left, agreeing that her husband would stop running the sprinkler on my garage. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.